Yo, what's good in the hood, players? It's Benny doing stuff, and I'm hitting y'all with some more fire content. And today, I'm here to destroy all of this Tim Duncan slander. I'm here to tell you all why he's a top 10 player of all time, even though I thought that was just virtually known already. So let's hop right into it. So first, I want to start it off with a couple of tweets from the whole Anthony Davis over Tim Duncan hype. And I've actually seen some of these tweets resurface, so let's hop right into it like I was saying. Damn. From Mr. Bill's Mafia. I mean, if you switch Tim and AD for a career and they would be close to similar, that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard, bro. Come on, man. Anthony Davis can barely stay on the court. Tim Duncan was playing 60 plus games almost every season, bro. At Susan12344, whatever. Defensively, I'll go with AD. He steals plus blocks plus scoring profile is only matched by a player like a wise one.
Just say you don't know what you're talking about. You're just biased.
So at least on the box score side of defense, AD is better. On the other hand, Duncan's rotations were almost always perfect, and he almost never made mistakes. What you're saying is Tim Duncan essentially was a perfect defensive player, yet you would still take Anthony Davis over him. That doesn't make sense at all. To even compare AD defensively to Hakeem Olajuwon, that's just wild, bruh. AD is a monster on defense, but to compare him to Hakeem? Nah, bruh. At Brendan King Dow, he literally was on Tim Duncan's level the first game we ever saw him play. Niggas be wildin'! Nigga, what? Now it's just about the championships. He can do everything Tim can do and more while playing better defense. Anthony Davis does not play better defense than Tim Duncan. I didn't think I had to constantly reiterate this, but Tim Duncan is a better defender than Anthony Davis. Yes, he is. That's factually correct. You can look at numbers, whatever. At Envying, AD is better. Let's compare the attributes. Scoring, AD. Shooting, AD. Athleticism, AD. Ball security, AD. Free throws, AD. Post moves, AD. Rebounding, AD. Steals, AD. Passing, Duncan. Shot blocking, Ty. I knew it. IQ, Duncan. Clutchness, Ty. When I told you all the Tim Duncan disrespect was real, I wasn't lying to you all. First of all, let's break this down. Scoring, I will give to you. But the only reason I'm giving you scoring is because Tim Duncan didn't have to be an elite scorer like he was in his prime. When Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker developed offensively, the load got to be lifted off of Tim Duncan, so he didn't need to average 24, 25 points per game anymore. That's what people fail to realize about Tim Duncan. At Tweet These Balls, ho. I don't care what anyone says, Tim is not better than AD. Yeah, I'm gonna just end the Twitter section of this video off. These niggas are clearly just dumb as fuck. Now, some other disrespect I seen were comparisons that people made. People like to compare Tim Duncan's last, decade of his career to Carlos Boozer.
I know everybody loves Tim Duncan, but can we at least be real about his career? The guy put up Carlos Boozer numbers offensively the last decade of his career. He never got any shit for losing or underperforming despite keeping the reputation of a superstar until the day he retired.
Mentioning the fact that he never averaged 20 points per game the last 10 years of his career, which is factually incorrect. I looked that up, by the way. He did average 20 points per game in one season. Still, the fact that he just never had the godly numbers, he was more of a second option type of numbers. For some people, that hindered his ranking in their, you know what I'm saying, AD over Tim Duncan, whatever bullshit. What I failed to realize was people do not value defense like that. I'm very confused on how a player could average 16 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and be all-time level on defense, consistently making first and second team all defensive teams, averaging 2 blocks per game, having a top 10 defensive unit in the NBA because of that player. If you averaging 16 and 10 and giving me all-time defense, that automatically vaults you above a player like Carlos fucking Boozer and Jermaine O'Neal. Come on, bro. I'm tired of that bullshit right there, for real. Now, some more disrespect that I found out was the fact that people actually didn't have Tim Duncan in their top 10. It's just crazy to me how a player could accomplish so much as Tim Duncan did in his time and play for as long as he did. Like, if LeBron had the resume of Tim Duncan, niggas would have been said LeBron the GOAT. It wouldn't even be a discussion. So, I just want to point this dude out on Facebook in the NBA community. He says, Tim Duncan team was stacked. It's always because he played his role, and once he got older, he just had enough help to take most of the load off of him. Tim Duncan isn't top 10. So you're telling me there are 10 other players better than Tim Duncan in NBA history? I couldn't even name you those 10 players. When I talk about top 10 all times, I'm talking about talent, your accolades, how good was your peak, and how long was your peak, and I'm bringing account longevity as well. Tim Duncan has like 4 out of 5 of those qualities, bruh. It's no way he isn't top 10. Something else I seen a couple days ago, Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless dropped their top 10 all time. And Shannon Sharpe, though, he has Tim Duncan at number 7. I actually like the names that are on Shannon Sharpe's list. He has LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Magic, Wilt, Bird, Russell, Kobe, Curry, and Duncan. I don't see how Wilt is in the top 10 and not Shaq, but whatever. Back to Tim Duncan, though. Tim Duncan being ranked below Larry Bird is laughable. Tim Duncan has more championships, played way longer, has better statistical numbers, better on the defensive end. It's just more impactful to the game of basketball than Larry Bird, and I can say the same for Wilt, but plus more.
Damn.
When you sit back and you look at his total career and what he did from not only the accolade standpoints, but from his numbers and the context around those, there's no way he isn't top 10. Now, like I've been stating throughout this entire video, some of the main reasonings is because people say that he only won with stacked teams.
Duncan was always a focal point, but you could never truly focus on him. That's kind of the benchmark for a great organization, is when you have a great player like that you can't key on, and he's able to dominate you. And that's what makes him and that organization so great.
Richard, RJ, we're not talking about the Spurs, brother. We're talking about Tim Duncan. We're talking about the greatest. No, I don't want to hear about the system. Tim Duncan made that system, okay? We're talking about the greatest power forward of all time.
But I already blew that theory out the water. Some other reasons I really do think people don't like Tim Duncan or to rank him that high is because he wasn't flashy enough to people. Tim Duncan was a slow, methodical type player. He would grind you back to the basket post-play type of player. He wasn't flashy. Wasn't a tween mid-range. He used the glass. He was bank off the glass a lot. Had a little bit of floater game. But like I said, he just wasn't aesthetically pleasing to people. And that may have hindered a lot of people's opinions about him. From what I know a lot of people who actually say this statement right here. And I've seen this on Twitter and Facebook in the NBA communities. People claim Tim Duncan was never the best player in the NBA. I'm here to tell you all that shit is cap. In 2003... 2004, I would take Tim Duncan as the best player. 2005, I'm taking Tim Duncan as the best player. 2006, you could argue Kobe. I believe that was the year he averaged 35. But then in 2007, I'm taking Tim Duncan. So I've arguably given you 4 to 5 years in which Tim Duncan was the best player of the NBA. And that's when Shaq and Kobe were on the Lakers. That's when hella talent at his position was in the NBA, you feel me? And for him to still accomplish as much as he did, Tim Duncan is a 5-time champion, like I stated, 2-time MVP, 15-time All-NBA player, 15-time All-Star, 3-time Finals MVP, 15-time All-Defensive player. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the most all-time. I don't think people really understand just how good of a defender Tim Duncan was. He was really that impactful on the defensive end. So when people try to tell me Anthony Davis over Tim Duncan, come on, bro. That's just not even a comparison, dog. And he's in the Basketball Hall of Fame the first year he retired.
I lost.
Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out, niggas. Tired of the Tim Duncan hate. Deuces.